The New York Times published an opinion piece criticizing Dr. Anthony Fauci's approach to information sharing the COVID-19 pandemic. The article primarily focused on Fauci's initial refutation of the COVID lab leak theory and his association with the British zoologist Peter Daszak. The author Megan Stack wrote that Fauci and Daszak could have qualified their statement to expose Americans to more of the full picture regarding the Wuhan Institute of Virology bat virus research, but they did not. Stack also condemned Fauci for initially lying about the effectiveness of masks and frequently moving the goalposts on when it would be safe to lift lockdown measures. This is more of a Babylon Bee story than a New York Times. Stack argued that Fauci's dishonesty and promotion of disinformation contributed to the problem of censorship and suppression of certain ideas. She concluded that attempting to clean up disinformation by suppressing discourse creates its own dangers and can lead to a society where nobody really believes anything. No shit, Sherlock. So, Alan, thoughts on the story?
You know, we had this thing in air assault units called cut sling load. You know what I'm talking about? They just cut sling load on Fauci. Fauci's done. And they're going to distance themselves. And
what is cut sling load for?
That means that you're like what they did to Cuomo, they're about to do to Fauci.
Yeah, you come in with a helicopter and you can pick up like a Humvee or anything with the sling attached to it. Well, when you're ready to drop it, you cut sling load. And that's what they've done.
Meaning the helicopter cannot carry the helicopter. Yeah, just cut it. We're going to
just cut and bait. They're moving on from Fauci.
Cut and bait.
But isn't it a little ironic? This is after the fact. He's already retired. He's done. He was the highest paid employee in the government.
They are getting ready for 2024. Why do you think Governor Gretchen Whitmer all of a sudden comes out and says,
Michigan?
Yeah. I probably went too far.
Whoops.
Oops. I'm sorry if I ruined your business or I ruined your life. Why? They're getting ready to set themselves up for 2024. They don't want this to be a conversation because they know that the American people have STM, short-term memory. And so Fauci's going to get hit with a lot of class action lawsuits. It's coming. And so New York Times and everybody, they're separating themselves. They don't want anybody to come back and say that the New York Times were part of this. They don't want to be part of a lawsuit saying that they promote.
So you're basically saying they're putting hit pieces out there saying, hey, we did our part. It might have been 3 years too late. However, we did write some hit pieces on Fauci.
We call that the Pontius Pilate. I'm washing my hands.
Yeah.
So if I'm Fauci, I should be worried because now I'm being told I'm on my own. They've cut bait on me.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are sympathizing for this happening to Fauci, as well as the sympathy they have for a World Health Organization, which recently came out and said, WHO, World Health Organization, says healthy kids and teens don't need COVID vaccinations.
I'm telling you.
The World Health Organization has updated its guidance on COVID-19 vaccines, recommending that healthy children and adolescents may not need to receive the shot. The WHO considers vaccinating healthy young people to be a low priority as a public health impact. You are so dark, World Health. It's much lower than that of traditional essential vaccines for children like measles and polio. WHO also called for urgent efforts to catch up on routine vaccinations missing during the pandemic and warned of a rise in vaccine-preventable diseases like measles. The CDC reported a record high of almost 40 million children missing their measles vaccines in 2021. Misinformation. Why do you think? I wonder why you're missing 40 million. Misinformation linked to COVID vaccines has also led to parents rejecting normal childhood shots despite immunizations being the most effective way to protect children from measles. This is a Daily Mail story.
You know, it's funny. It's almost like we played a record and then we stopped and then we start playing a record backwards.
Song change.
Because WHO was like, we think it's now acceptable for 16-year-olds. Oh, we think it's now acceptable for 12-year-olds. Actually, we think that to the states that will mandate it, if their governors are smart, we can go to 10-year-olds. Remember that? We kept going down. We think 8-year-olds would be fine. We kept going down. Now the WHO said, no, I don't think you need the 8, 10, 12, 16s or 18s. It's like we're going backwards. They don't need it. Remember that? We went down the ages. Now we go back up the ages. There's no legitimacy here.
Truth is powerful, and they are now understanding that how they hoodwinked not just the United States of America, entire world is coming to fruition. It's coming back against them. And of course, why would you trust the WHO? I mean, China owns the WHO.
You know who this favors? One guy. This only favors one guy.
Yeah.
It favors the guy that his campaign for 2024 should be, I told you so. That's one guy. And he's going to come out one by one. He just needs to have one by one stories. Russian Collusion, number 1. COVID vaccine for kids, number 2. Shutting down, number 3. School, number 4. All of these things, he just needs to go one by one story. And both him and DeSantis can use the I told you so campaign, because DeSantis can say, I told you what I did in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. Trump can do the other side. The left has to apologize. Did you see how Biden 2 days ago said Republicans are the reason behind the fentanyl issue because they're not taking a border seriously? Did you see that? Did you see that a couple days ago? Who's going to fall for that? To say something like that. I mean, this is the part where you have to be so... You're arrogant. Willing to go to such levels to gaslight people. You're officially thinking the voters are dumb. That's what you think.
Well, they believe in and hopefully this won't get you in trouble down here, but the minister of propaganda for the Germans, Goebbels, who said if you repeat a lie often enough, eventually people will take it for truth. And that's what they're going to continue to do. Look, you just got to go down to the border, and you just got to understand this and look at the numbers. This is all because of one single person, one single administration, purposeful and intentional. The fact that we have close to 2 million people in the United States of America come across that border, we have no idea where they are. That's scary. And again, coming back to having someone that is strong, all of those folks that got released out of prison in Afghanistan, they want some payback. And the cartels will help anybody get into the United States of America as long as they pay them the money. And something eventually is going to go kaboom in the United States of America, because there are people that have come across, they don't mean us good.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.